Yes, guys, what's happening? And welcome back to the channel and welcome to tonight's live stream where I'm going to be previewing the Chelsea versus Plymouth FA Cup fourth round tie at Stamford Bridge. And after what's been an uneventful transfer window and seems like the longest 2 weeks possible without any football, Chelsea are finally back in action and it's a busy month. We've got taking part in 5 competitions, FA Cup tomorrow. We've got the Club World Cup coming up next week. We're back in Champions League action. And we've also got the Carabao Cup at the end of the month. Before I introduce tonight's guest and we get into it, please make sure you smash a like on this video. Please do click that subscribe button. I appreciate all of your support. So if you're tuning into this video and you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. It really helps me and the channel out. But yeah, I'd like to introduce tonight's guest. Obviously, big Chelsea fan, digital content creator for the Retro Kits YouTube channel, which if you're into your retro kits is fantastic. So please do check that out. Delighted to welcome Jay Tomlins to the channel. Mate, thank you for joining me as always. Hope you're well.
Yeah, man, I'm good. Thanks for having me on, mate. I really do appreciate it. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I don't like to talk about the transfer window too much. It's a little bit boring, but I would like to get your thoughts on it. Before I get your thoughts as a whole, what were your thoughts heading into the window? Did you feel it was essential for Chelsea to do business, or were you not too fussed either way?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I expected something, but I don't think I had as high expectations as you see some people have. I think it's such a difficult one because I think everyone was really like the only problem area I really see in our squad at the moment is left back, of course, but that's only because Chilwell's injured. So you don't want to go and spend 20, 30 mil on another left back just to then have a left back headache when Chilwell's, free, because we want Chilwell back in the side. So I didn't have high expectations. So I guess I wasn't disappointed because obviously we didn't do much. We didn't do anything really. So yeah, no, I'm a bit impartial to it all, to be honest. I think we've got a big summer ahead of us, and by that I mean less bringing players in, but just getting rid of some players. So I think I wasn't really expecting too much this January, and we didn't really get much. So I'm not too bothered. I think it's just. Yeah, I think it's just going to be chill. I don't think we really needed to stock the squad anymore because, we've got contract problems. We've got squad issues as it is, people not being too happy as it is. Just to bring more people into that would just be another headache for Tuchel. I don't think he needs that. So, yeah, I'm not too bothered, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I share that train of thought, to be honest, mate. At the start of the window, I was a little bit frustrated first sort of 10 days, 2 weeks that, we should be doing something. But when you actually sort of sit back and take a rational view at it, as you mentioned, the summer's going to be massive. In the past, we've made mistakes on countless players, bringing in players that aren't really good enough on big money. We can't get rid of them. The likes of your Drinkwaters, your Ross Barkleys, your Bakayokos, your Batshuayis. And I think it's important that actually we stick with what we've got and we only sign stuff that's going to actually improve us. I think Tuchel is someone that, as a manager, likes to work with what he's got. He's not, perhaps like an Antonio Conte or a Jose Mourinho that needs constant backing with new players coming. And I think Tuchel's quite happy to develop what he's got as well. And, we don't want to keep making the same mistakes he's made in the past. I mean, Drinkwater's contract expires in the summer, but we've been paying this guy 100K a week for 5 years now. 5 years.
That's mad. That is mad.
It's bad. So I'm glad to see the club, take stock and think, actually, do you know what? Look, if we're being realistic, the Premier League's done. I know mathematically we can still win it, but, if I feel that, if the business would have been different, if we'd been, say, 3 to 5 points behind, you might think, actually, let's go and get someone in. That might take us on to winning the league. But the fact of the matter is we're not going to win the league. And with what we've got, it's more than good enough to add a few more trophies to the cabinet. And I mean, a quote from Tuchel's presser today, he's saying that he's satisfied basically with the window. He needed a calm one, and there was obviously no contact with Dembele either, where there was rumours doing the rounds there. I mean, as you said, the summer's going to be crucial, so I think we'll hold judgment on this one until we see what happens in the summer. But just on Ousmane Dembele, whilst it's up on the screen, what are your thoughts on a potential move for him? Is that something that would excite you or not really? Obviously, it would require outgoings in the forward area to bring him in at some point.
Yeah. I really don't want this. I really don't want this, man. I see Twitter and I always fall into the trap of looking at Twitter and thinking it's an accurate representation, which it never is. But I was looking at Twitter and people really wanting Dembele. Listen, I know he's talented. He's got so much talent, but like we've already got Pulisic that can't stay fit. Do you know what I mean? We've already got some players that aren't the same talent but don't do much. We just did not need to add another headache to that squad, even if we got rid of some players. We don't need an injury prone winger on our side. That's the last thing we need. So I really wasn't too excited about this move happening in January, to be fair. And I hope it really doesn't happen this summer. I think there's better targets to get.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, the talent is undoubtedly there. Very talented footballer, but questions over his attitude at Barcelona, being late for training, etc. And then obviously, you know, he's very injury prone. He's got a very high ceiling in terms of his potential and his talent, but we've already got players there with, as you said, with high potential as well. We don't want to be adding more potential. We need a few more finished articles, I feel, in that top end of the pitch. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. But just before we move into the FA Cup, I just wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of other things.
Go for it.
A report coming out in the Daily Mail today in regards to Antonio Rudiger's contract situation. Sammy Mockbell, the chief reporter, I'll just bring it up on screen now. I mean, he's then kind of quote tweeted the original tweet saying the headline slightly misleading. I will bring it up. It's basically saying that Rudiger had rejected a £200,000 a week offer from Chelsea. But then obviously, you know, he's said that actually, you know, talks have kind of zoned in on a 200k a week offer. And it's important to remember that Rudiger is fully open to staying and the club remain open to finding a compromise. I mean, Jay, where do you stand on this whole situation with Rudiger's contract? I mean, I've got part of me feels that, you know, if he really wants to stay, he'll sign for the money on offer. Another part of me is like, well, do you know what? He's been a really important performer. And when you see the likes of Timo Werner on well over £200,000 a week, etc., you think, actually, do you know what? I'm offering a lot more than he is. I should perhaps not be on the same money, but be in roughly the same ballpark. But then another part of me feels that, you know, as a free agent, Chelsea can't compete with the wages that can be offered with no transfer fee from the likes of your Bayern Munich's, your PSG's, your Real Madrid. So perhaps Rudiger's waiting to see what comes in from them before making his final decision. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the whole contract situation with Rudiger?
Oh yeah, it's been a messy one, hasn't it? It's been heartbreaking, to be fair, because you know, I've completely fell in love with this guy. He's unreal. Like the way he plays, the aggression that he brings is so important to our squad. Like our squad lacks that aggression. It lacks that kind of venom to it. And I think he's probably one of maybe 2 or 3 players that really bring it. And when you think of Chelsea players gone by, you know, that's a lot of the quality that they had. So I've really fallen in love with him. And this whole contract thing has really kind of been upsetting to see. But then, like, even the reporter now saying this headline is misleading. I think, you know, the whole time it's all been misleading. I think Rudiger wants to stay for at least another year or two because, you know, he's not the oldest player. I mean, look at Thiago Silva, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's still a baller and he's 37 now or going to be 37. You know what I mean? Like, he's got time ahead of him. But yeah, it's just a tricky one. I think we need to give him more money for sure. In comparative to the players around him, you mentioned Timo Werner. That guy doesn't deserve that money. Look, I love Timo. I do. He's a great guy. He offers a lot, but he's had a ropey time at Chelsea and does not deserve that money. Whereas you do look at Rudiger, who has helped us. You know, like, I mean, the Champions League, some of the last ditch tackles he were putting in that final. You know what I mean? Like, this important games where Rudiger has really stepped up and become like not the captain but the leader of that squad. So he's very important. So it's one of those things where I do think you need to find the compromise, and this is where the board is tricky, isn't it? Because, you know, our board, they can be quite stingy at times, even though we're known as the big spenders often in the transfer window with contracts and stuff. We're still quite stingy. Like Marina, as well, as good as at her job she is, she won't lowball anyone. She won't want to like get the lowest deal possible. But for me, give the Rudiger the money, keep him in the side. If we're growing something with Tuchel, which I hope we are, Rudiger needs to be playing because who else? You know, centre backs are like a dying breed a little bit. Really good high end centre backs. Like, where are they? Like, I know Chelsea want Koundé in summer, but he's unproven still. He's quite young. Rudiger is a proven centre back that offers a lot to our team, so we need to keep him.
Yeah, and I think he's answered those questions about, can he play in a back four?
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
we've not played. I know we've not played back four a lot under Tuchel, but in the games we have played, and Rudiger's played centre back, he hasn't looked out of place at all. So I think that kind of myth has almost been put to bed there. But yeah, as you said, really, Messi kind of sums it up, and we don't really seem to be any closer to having an answer one way or another. But I mean, yeah, well, obviously we'll have to see what happens on that front. I mean, just last thing before we get a bit more into the game, can't have you on and not ask you about kits. Chelsea have launched a new training range today. It's slightly been mocked on Twitter with the fact that obviously Lukaku is modelling it, and it's what looks very similar to an Inter Milan kit. I mean, before we come on air, we were discussing that Nike more times than not seems to be producing better training kits for us than actual match kits. But I mean, what are your thoughts on the new training range? I mean, do you like that? Do you like that shirt? Are you a fan of it?
Oh mate, it's wicked. It really is. The Inter Milan stuff's just funny. I love that. That's just such a good meme from people there. But no, I love it. I think it's class. I tweeted today. I said, how can Nike make a better this shirt than the home shirt, the training shirt better than the home shirt? It makes no sense. I don't understand, because this shirt is everything I kind of want to see in a Chelsea shirt. It's really suave, it's sophisticated, it's got the golden elements, which is really cool. The Trivago logo looks pretty good. It actually kind of looks better than the free logo, doesn't it? Because it's just simple type, and I love when they do that with our badge. They did it with that special kit a couple of years ago for the FA Cup kit. I love that. It's so sick. It's so sleek, and I think there is a home kit that you could base off a design like this, or even a third kit maybe. But no, it's training wear. But they would have made so much dough off that today. The Chelsea mega store. Like I know so many people that have bought that. So yeah, I love it, to be honest. But I'm annoyed at the same time.
Yeah, no, I share those thoughts. Maybe we can hope next season that we might get something similar to that potentially. But I mean, yeah, we can hope, and it is very nice. And they're going, as you said, they're going to make a lot of money off it. But yeah, it's a shame that we don't seem to be getting anywhere of any decent match kits. And maybe that will change to next season. But back to the matter at hand. Obviously, we've got a busy month coming up, as I mentioned at the top of the show. Jay, how do you see Chelsea's season shaping up at the moment as we head into quite a crucial stage? But by the end of this month, we could have another 2 trophies in the cabinet. We could also have none if we have a worst case scenario. How have you seen the season so far? Started off brightly, obviously the standard Chelsea December crumble, and we turned it around a little bit in January, and February is really a big month.
It's huge, isn't it? I kind of I didn't realise until the club tweeted that the fixture list of every game. Really big, we got the start of the Champions League, the Club Cup, the EFL Cup. You said it already, so it's quite crazy how big February is. Luckily, I don't think there's too many big Premier League games mixed in. Like there's no City or Liverpool in there just to throw in a spanner. But no, I'm happy with the season so far. Oh, I'd say I'm happy. December I was definitely not happy.
Yeah, it was a dark times.
It was a very dark time, but I think we're all used to that now as Chelsea fans. So yeah, no, I don't know. By all standards, it's a good season. I just think because City are too good, it comes off with a bit of a bad taste in the mouth. But to be honest, we have already got the Super Cup this season. You said 2 trophies can be won this month. We could just be gobbling up some trophies and really, really dominating, and that keeps Tuchel in his job. And if Tuchel stays in his job, I'm happy. So you know what? I'm well excited. The break has been needed, but it's left me now wanting more football. And I'm really excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's whetted the appetite nicely. I'm certainly looking forward to Chelsea being back in action. Just on the cup thing, I mean, at the moment, I've seen this banded around in recent weeks, in the last month or so. I sort of kind of buy into it a little bit myself. Do you see us as more of a cup side at the moment? I think Tuchel seems to be very good at knockout football, knockout competition football, and Chelsea, not just under Thomas Tuchel, but under various managers. We haven't got the consistency at the moment to win the league. We haven't challenged for the league title since Antonio Conte won it. And that's a good few years ago now. I mean, do you think we are more of a cup team?
Probably, yeah, aren't we? I think, we've been that way since Conte, really. So I don't think it's a Tuchel problem. I think it's a Chelsea problem. But yeah, you're right. I think we are a bit of a cup team. That's just the fun of being a Chelsea fan, isn't it? The kind of the fun, exhilarating trophy kind of round that we can manage to do, go on great runs in cups, get the silverware in, but at the same time, the most frustrating thing is not being able to pull in consistency with the league. And it's a mentality thing, isn't it? I think this you kind of links to the transfer window stuff. I think there's a few heads in that camp that haven't got the mentality to do the league. I think sometimes our players can't really get up for the smaller games, can they? And that's the games we end up losing or drawing 0-0, whatever. So I think it's a bit of a mentality thing. Like, whereas when it comes to a cup game, Tuchel knows how to roll them up, and some of the more experienced heads get more rolled up in the squad. So yeah, definitely a cup side at the minute. I'm not complaining too much because we're still winning. It could be worse. We could be Tottenham, but yeah, it is frustrating. It's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit. Or we could be Arsenal playing once a week for the rest of the season. So we can't complain too much.
They can't win anything now.
No, exactly.
Next season. Imagine that, like, that's mad for Arsenal as well. You know, I don't know about you, but I used to know Arsenal was the team.
Mate, they were the team. They were winning everything.
FA Cup.
Start of February now, when you got nothing to play for, is mad.
To play for. That must be so frustrating. Not only just as a fan, but as a player, isn't it? Like, it'd be hard. I mean, I guess they got to fight for top 4 now, but yeah, that's funny. So at least we've got things to play for. So.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, FA Cup returns this weekend, 4th round. I mean, unfortunately, we've lost back-to-back finals in this competition. I mean, hopefully, we can make it perhaps 3rd time lucky this year. I mean, how important is the FA Cup to you as a fan this season? I mean, is it vital that we do well, or are you not too fussed?
I love the FA Cup, man. I really do. Both those times have been heartbreaking. The last 2 finals we've made, like especially the Arsenal one. I remember when was it Pulisic that scored early doors?
Yeah, I think scored in the first 5 minutes. Yeah,
I was buzzing, mate. I was so gassed, and then to lose that one, and then the Leicester one. I remember thinking, like, it's, football fans are weird, aren't we? We're a weird breed, because I remember thinking it's 2021. We're going to win the Champions League and the FA Cup just like we did in 2012. Yeah. In my head, that made sense. It doesn't, because it's nothing. So when we lost that one, it was annoying. But I love the FA Cup. It's great. I think being the cup side that we are, it's exciting. It's a good competition, especially even these early rounds are fun and interesting. I always enjoy these games because, the Chesterfield one not long ago, that was a lot of fun. Their fans were great. Their presence at the ground looked great, and I love the FA Cup. I think it's important for us to go and do our best in this one.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think Tuchel takes it seriously as well. The fact that at the Chesterfield game, I don't think anyone was expecting the lineup to be that strong, with the likes of Lukaku, Werner, Pulisic, Kovacic, all in from the off. I mean, against non-league opposition as well. I think that's caught a lot of people off guard with just how seriously he's taking it. So I think we're probably going to expect another strong lineup tomorrow. I mean, another quote from the press conference just to show that he is obviously taking it seriously. Let's just quickly bring it up. Yeah, here we go. We don't want them to have the best time and having a very good experience. How do we do this? We treat them with respect, and we'll have a strong team on the pitch tomorrow. So again, indicating that it's going to be another strong lineup. And I mean, I would have liked to have seen Lewis Hall again, but it's come to light that, him, Harvey Vale, Charlie Webster and Javier Simons are all in a development squad tonight playing. So that would suggest that none of them are going to feature tomorrow. So we're going to see a stronger than usual lineup, you would expect. I mean, are you a bit disappointed we're not going to see a bit more of Lewis Hall?
Yeah, man, he had a great game, didn't he? He was really, really bright, and he said himself, bless him, he said, that he had like his first touch was off, and maybe he had a couple minutes were rough, but then the second the crowd got behind him, he got played so well, so well. I was hyped up. I was like, he's our number 1 left back from now on. I was that guy. But yeah, no, it's a shame, but he's just too short. He's ruthless, isn't he? He really is ruthless. He doesn't care who we're playing. I mean, I wrote down here like the same thing. He said we're going to treat Plymouth with respect, and you've got to respect that, and Plymouth will respect that as well. To be fair, because they I'm sure lower league sides get annoyed when teams play the young lads and that. But no, I mean, the best part of Chelsea in the last couple of years has been our young lads: Mason Mount, Reece James, Chalobah. the list goes on and on. Like they've been the most exciting part. So it's a shame to not see more come through. And this is the perfect time, but it's one of them, and you can kind of see Tuchel's side to this.
I guess it's one of those as well where, in a slightly unique circumstance, no one's played for 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got the Club World. We've got a lot of big fixtures coming up. We need players to have minutes. We don't want to go into the Club World Cup being rusty. I mean, the only previous time we were in the Club World Cup in 2012, we lost. So this is a trophy that you don't get the opportunity to win very often. In its current format, it heavily favours the Champions League winners. I know they're looking at potentially revamping the competition, so it could be a bit harder in future years. So we really need to take this opportunity. So yeah, this game is going to be used to get key members of the squad minutes so they're sharp for the important Club World Cup campaign. And unfortunately, that is going to be at the expense of some exciting youngsters that we have seen minutes from in the first team. In terms of formations tomorrow, Jay, we've seen a number of formations this season. We've seen obviously the 3-4-3 that gave us so much success last season. We've also seen variations of a 4-2-2, and last time out against Tottenham, we saw for the first time a 4-3-3 with 2 out-and-out wingers and 2 number 8s. Where do you sit on the formation front? I mean, do you feel that the back 4 is purely in place at the moment until Reece James and Ben Chilwell get back, or do you think this is something that we could stick with even once they return?
Yeah, that's interesting. I like the four at the back. I do. I think because we have so much talent in the forward areas, like in midfield and in attack, like it makes sense to utilize that. And I think when Tuchel came in, his first priority was to fix the defense, and then so that's why he implemented the 5 at the back. But it's an interesting one. I don't really know because, like you said, Reece James and Chilwell not being in the side, it makes such a huge difference to that formation and who we play, because those two, in my eyes and in Tuchel's eyes, probably they're not really defenders, are they? You play 5 at the back to have them attacking, and then you 2 holding midfielders be more defensive. Like that's kind of the system. So I'm happy to keep it fresh and keep it moving. To be honest. Opponent, dependent, if we're coming up against a bigger side, maybe playing the 5 at the back, keeping it resolute and attacking them with the wing backs. And then if we're playing a bit of an easier game, we experiment, we have more attackers on the field, get it more fluid. I'm happy to see that, but then that keeps chopping and changing. So it has its own problems. As for the game tomorrow, as you said, this is an important game for the Club World Cup to kind of like a warm-up almost, even though that sounds condescending.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be a 3 at the back to kind of maybe warm up for that competition, because I think Tuchel thinks that 5 at the back is his best. So maybe he's going to use that in that competition. So for my predicted lineup, I've gone with a 5 at the back.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see that 4-3-3 again. I really liked it with the 2 out-and-out wingers. I don't think it's any coincidence that Hakim Ziyech had probably his best game in a Chelsea shirt in the right wing position, which ironically that's where he was signed to play. I think it also helped Callum Hudson-Odoi a lot. But I do agree with you. I think it's perhaps purely we've kind of stumbled across it circumstantially in terms of the fact that Alonso and Azpilicueta, through no fault of their own, it's just the players they are. They don't offer the same attacking threat or get up and down the pitch like James and Chilwell do. So we kind of perhaps need out-and-out wingers for that width. Because 3 at the back with those 2 guys playing, there's no width in the side at all. So I think that's perhaps one of the reasons why it's gone with it. And I do like it. And I wouldn't be surprised if next season we did adopt a 4 at the back, obviously depending on who we can get in holding midfield. Obviously Declan Rice, Tchouameni and whatnot, that's a separate conversation. But I think if we can get the players in to fit that 4 at the back system with a holding midfield player, I think that's something that probably suits this group of players probably better. But yeah, I mean, equally tomorrow, I mean, whatever formation we go with, it should be more than enough to beat Plymouth. I know we've seen upsets over the years when Bradford came to Stamford Bridge a few those years back and won 4-2. But I mean, Jay, do you envisage any issues tomorrow?
Nah, I don't think so. It's hard to see. It's hard to see an upset happening, isn't it? Really, like you just as what knowing that Tuchel is going to play a more experienced side as well, not knowing that it's going to be a completely changed side. I really don't think there's going to be any upsets, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I can't really see it. And I think like Tuchel's taken it seriously. You know, it's by all accounts going to be a strong lineup. And you know, yeah, we should have more than enough to see off Plymouth. But I mean, let's get into kind of the predicted 11, what we think, what we'd like to see. I'll just bring it up on screen now. I've obviously got it down as a 4-3-3, but we can that can be changed. So yeah, should we go 5 at the back?
Well, I don't mind, to be honest, mate. I've gone for a 5 here, but I don't know if you saw as well in the press conference today. He was really speaking about Kenedy a fair bit. There's a couple quotes about Kenedy.
Did give him some praise, didn't he? But then I've also read things that because of how the Brazilian season runs differently, like it finishes in December or something, and then it restarts again in March, I think. I don't think he's really done any training or played since December 6th. So I'd be surprised if he was involved from the off. He's probably on the bench. We've got 5 subs again. He might get some minutes, but I mean, obviously I can change this around in a sec. But the goalkeeper's not going to be affected. Choice of 2 for goalkeeper. Sticking with Kepa, or do you think Bettinelli's going to get another go between the sticks?
Well, I went with Bettinelli. I can't say his name. Bettinelli, because only because the social media from a couple days ago was like, our next game is Plymouth, and it's him.
And it was him, wasn't it? Yeah.
So I was like, if Kepa's playing after that, that's just disrespectful to the guy. So I've gone with him. I don't know if you think the same.
I mean, I've gone with Kepa. I just feel that personally, you know, Mendy's in the African Cup of Nations final on Sunday.
Yeah, good
I would expect Mendy might well play the Club World Cup final. I'd be surprised if he played in the semi-final on Wednesday, given the African Nations Cup is on Sunday night, to then fly out to Dubai, time difference, etc. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mendy didn't feature at all in the Club World Cup, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I wouldn't have him down for the semi-final. I can see the feeling behind Bettinelli. He done okay against Chesterfield. I'd have no problems with playing him. I would personally go with Kepa, but obviously we can put Marcus in. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on Kepa. I think the biggest compliment I can pay him is we haven't missed Mendy at all since he's been away.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm really happy for the guy. Every time you see that his name in the lineup for the last year or so, it's been dread, hasn't it? It's been like, oh God, no. But he has really, really come into his own, and he's really stepped up to the plate. And it's been like the perfect time for him. The Cup of Nations, you know, it's been the perfect time for Kepa, really, and he's really shown like that he can do it. I still think Mendy is the best of the two, but you're right, we haven't missed it. Kepa's probably the best second goalie you can have in the league, but obviously he doesn't want to be that. But I'm really happy for him. I am. It's good that he's kind of getting his confidence back. It's good for him as a player to get his confidence back and be that player we know he can be, but also it's good for potential buyers, because I do think he's probably going to be one of those that go.
Yeah, there's a high chance. So we'll go 3 at the back. I'll switch this up to a 3. Obviously, Trevor Chalobah is back from injury now. Andreas Christensen back from COVID issues, not played for a while. Who are you expecting to make up the back 3? There's going to be no Thiago Silva because of obviously having played in those World Cup qualifiers, and they only got back like middle of the night, last night or the night before, so they're not going to play a part, him or Christian Pulisic. In terms of the back 3, I mean, do you think something as simple as Malang Sarr, Christensen, and potentially Chalobah?
Yeah, well, you've to be fair, I put Kenedy in, right? Just a bit of a side thing because of how much he spoke about him. But you're right, if he's not played since December, he's definitely not going to go in. So that kind of ruins my plan a little bit. But yeah, no, I personally had I did have Rudiger play in because I think same reason as we've mentioned, like Rudiger. We're using this game to get back up to speed, get back to match fitness. So I thought Rudiger might play. I definitely think Sarr will play. Sarr's been great, the past couple of games. He had a ropey start in a Chelsea shirt, but again, he's become really showed himself to be a strong squad player. And yeah, for the final one, I'm completely been thrown off here because of Kenedy, but I think Chalobah, it might be a good time to play Chalobah because of the 5 subs that he can play half a game, he can play 60 minutes or so. But it'll be good to see if he can come back into the fold and get some minutes behind him because he's been great, hasn't he? He's been one of the stories of the season, so I'd be happy to see him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And to be honest, mate, like I think given the circumstances as I touched on earlier, like players that you wouldn't normally expect to see playing in this game, like a Rudiger, they probably need minutes in the legs with the schedule that's coming up. So, I mean, equally, it's very likely we could see Andreas Christensen potentially. But, I mean, I've got no issue of going with that 3. Right wing back, I presume, continuing with Azpilicueta. I don't think we'll see. I mean, the only other option there is really Callum Hudson-Odoi. So, I mean, do you think it's going to be another game for Aspi?
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? I think it has to be. To be honest, mate, I reckon we put Asby there, put him as a right back of the 4, and we do a 4-3-3 like you originally planned. I reckon.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, mate, let's do it then. So we'll have who do you have in the centre then? Out of those, who's going to miss out? Out of the 2, you think it's going to be Sarr and Rudiger?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Sarr and Rudiger.
And then Chalobah will maybe be subbed on.
Yeah, I reckon Chalobah could be subbed on, but Chalobah could also play holding midfield. He has played there a few times.
Yeah, he did against Wolves, didn't he?
He did against Wolves. He got injured. He obviously played against Watford and he got injured. I think Aspi is going to go in that right back slot. And then left back, do we think, obviously it's going to be a back 4. Marcus Alonso, I don't really like him in a back 4. Do we maybe think then that, obviously Lewis Hall involved in the development squad, maybe Malang Sarr plays at left back?
Yeah, he was really good there against Spurs, wasn't he? I was really surprised.
He was good there. Do we think then, if we go Sarr and Rudiger with Azpilicueta and Malang Sarr, I think in a back 4, Alonso's not going to play. But again, with 5 subs, it might start as Sarr and Rudiger. But I mean, I wouldn't we can bring on Christensen, we can bring on Chalobah for a minute. So I think as a back 4, that's not too bad. And as we say, Malang Sarr, fairly new to that left back position. This is going to be another good opportunity for him to get some minutes under his belt. I mean, who would you partner with Rudiger, Christensen or Chalobah from the off? I mean, I'm not too fussed either way. Yeah. Who do you reckon? Who would you give the nod to?
Oh, this is why I'm happy I'm not Thomas Tuchel. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's one of them. It's like you play Christensen to maybe get him up to speed with the games to get him ready for the Club World Cup, or you play Chalobah to get him minutes. It's a tough one. It's a toying cost. It's can't get me words out. Yeah, we'll go Chalobah. Yeah,
and to be honest, as I said, with 5 subs, there's options to might pre-agree something that those 2 will play 45 minutes each or something like that. But let's go with Chalobah. Moving into midfield, obviously playing in a holding midfield position. I'm sure Kante will be on the bench. I don't want him to start this game. It's no point risking him with what we've got coming up. Who do you expect to take that holding midfield role? I mean, maybe Sao Niguez, or I guess it's a toss-up really between Sao Niguez and Jorginho for that slot. I mean, I'd prefer to go with Jorginho. I think it'll go with Jorginho just for the reasons we've given in terms of the important games coming up and the lack of minutes players have had over the last couple of weeks. So I'd personally go with Jorginho there. I mean, would you share those thoughts, or do you think someone else could be put in there?
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I think Jorginho is the perfect fit for that, especially in a 4-3-3. I think he's good at that role in the 4-3-3. So yeah, I'll go with him.
Moving to sort of the 2 number 8 positions now. I mean, we obviously saw Mason Mount and Kovacic do very well in those positions against Tottenham. Do you think it's straightforward as those 2 again? Do we think we might see Sao Niguez there? I mean, dare I say it, could we see Ross Barkley?
Oh, I hope not.
I hope not as well.
Yeah, you know what? I think Mason and Cover. I think I want Mason playing whenever he offers so much. He's clearly our best player.
Let's put him in.
Yeah, so I think Mount's got to go in there, and then.
It's a shame Loftus-Cheek is injured, isn't it? Because he would have been a shoo-in to play there probably, I'd say, tomorrow. Yeah,
him and Mount, that's a dream team, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad, that.
Yeah, I like Ruben as well. I think he gets a bit of stick. I think what he offers, people kind of get him, confused with the kind of guy that's going to score loads of goals because, under Sarri all those years ago, he got a couple of goals, then he got a hat trick in the Europa League.
Yeah.
I don't think he's not that guy. He's a ball carrier. He's a bit of a playmaker, but because he's quite big as well, I think he gets a hard time. But no, I think this is difficult. I'm really happy. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'll go with Kovacic. I think same reasons that we've said. A couple of the other lads, good minutes behind him.
Yeah, definitely. And then we've got options to swap out with, the likes of your Sound Guedes, etc. Kante probably get a few minutes in this game. So yeah, and I think that three works pretty well against Tottenham last time. I mean, moving on to the three toughest positions on the pitch, really. It's been a problem all season. But I think for me on this right wing, the guy seems to have come into some good form in the weeks before the break, and that's Hakim Ziyech. I think I think he's one of those players that he's been so frustrating at Chelsea because his technical ability and his talent, we all know it's there. We just don't see it on a consistent basis. But I think in that right wing position, he really showed something against Tottenham, and I think he looks a lot happier there. And for me, he's one of those players that if he's playing well, you just need to keep playing him. So I think whilst he's in form, he should be starting. He should be starting every game. The only other option we have on that right hand side is an actual out and out right winger is Pulisic. Well, obviously, he's not going to be featuring because of his commitments with the US team over the break. So I mean, I think it's another opportunity for Ziyech to carry on his good form. I mean, would you be picking him on that right hand side?
Yeah, completely agree, mate. He's a frustrating character, but he's in form, so you got to put him there. And also, my biggest problem with Ziyech is that he's completely predictable. Like he'll be out on that right, he'll shift it to his left, and he'll score a wonder goal with that left, that top bins. That's what he'll try and do all day long.
Yeah.
And against opposition like Plymouth, he's going to have the space to do that, so that's fine to play him. So yeah, I agree with that.
Moving on to this left hand side now, left wing. I don't see Timo Werner as an out-and-out left winger. Him and Kai Havertz are going to have to play at some point. I don't really think either of them fit that well into this 4-3-3 system. Unless you play Kai Havertz as an 8, he's not an out-and-out winger. I don't think he's really a lone centre forward in a 4-3-3. In the narrow 3-5, in the narrow sort of 3-4-3, works a bit better with players closer to him. But I think as an out-and-out centre forward, it doesn't really work for me. We'll go to that left-hand side. I mean, by process of elimination, I think it's Callum Hudson-Odoi for me. I mean, like Timo Werner will get minutes tomorrow, possibly from the start. But I just don't see him as a left winger. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that left-hand side in this system that we're going with?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was his biggest problem under Lampard, wasn't it? Lampard was a 4-3-3 kind of guy, and we just couldn't fit him and Werner and Havertz into it because of the system. That was the problem, wasn't it? Werner not being able to be that left winger, that proper left winger. He doesn't really get right down the wing. He likes to cut in. He wants to be more central. So you're right. I don't think he fits there. It's difficult because you want to give him more minutes because he needs the confidence. The same with Ziyech. He got more minutes. He got more confidence. Now he's a little bit of a shoe-in, like we mentioned. So it's difficult. But yeah, I think Cal's been promising up there. He's He's the kind of player that we want more minutes in it. Also, it being Plymouth, getting him in, getting a younger lad in there is promising. So yeah, I think Hudson-Odoi is the one.
Yeah, I think that's his on the left hand side. I think realistically, that's his position locked down at the moment. I think he's number one choice there. Ahead of the likes of Pulisic, Havertz, Werner, etc. We've touched on. Not really doing so well. Another thing I liked about this system, and I've only seen it once before, but the Mount and Ziyech link-up was really promising against Tottenham. So hopefully we can maybe see a little bit more of that. I mean, centre-forward position, we did touch on it. Kai Havertz, he may well feature from the off tomorrow, but for me, it's probably going to be Lukaku again. Tuchel seems to be playing Lukaku more often than not in most games. We need Lukaku to start firing for us. We've got a really important part of the season coming up that he's going to play a big part in a lot of matches. He needs the minutes, and I guess he needs the goals, and tomorrow represents a very good opportunity for him. So, just briefly on Lukaku, where do you stand on him, Jay, after all the sort of the furore of the interview? That's kind of died down a little bit now. And he's back playing games again. He's not, at his best by any means, but where do you kind of stand on this whole situation with him?
Oh, it's so upsetting, isn't it? He came back into form, the Villa game and one of these games. He really, scored a couple goals. He was looking the Lukaku we saw at the start of the season, the Lukaku we thought was going to turn up, and then out of nowhere he does this stupid interview. And I know he did it before those games, but still, he's an idiot for that.
Yeah,
I think for me, I just think I don't want to accuse the man of being an idiot. But it was just a stupid move, wasn't it? It was just a really not thought out move. I think it wasn't. The internet blew it up a lot, and kind of rightfully so. He shouldn't have done it. But it was just so silly, and it's left a bad taste in the mouth. And you've paid so much. He was talking about Chelsea kind of coming back to his dream club. This is what I've always wanted, and he's just kind of shown that it's not, and he's lying. But then most footballers do, so it's so difficult. I think what Tuchel's trying to do, what he's been trying to do the last couple of games, is beat into him, get him a goal, get him that confidence back, and just get him being the Lukaku we want and we know. So yeah, I do think he'll probably play against Plymouth, but then, yeah, no, I think he'll probably do the same thing, won't he? If the last couple of games are anything to go by, and also if we want him playing well for the Club World Cup, we want him to get at least a goal in this one. But to be fair, if he doesn't score against Plymouth, it's ropey, isn't it?
yeah, no, he does need to score. I mean, on Kai Havertz, I'm sure he'll feature tomorrow. It's the same problem. Like undoubted ability, very talented, huge potential. Yes, he scored that goal in the Champions League final, and we'll be forever grateful for that. And that'll go down in Chelsea history. But for me, I don't know what his position is. I just can't work out where he's best. And whatever system we play, there doesn't seem to be a position for him. And despite what people say about that Champions League goal, the ultimate reality is, like Timo Werner, perhaps not to that extreme extent, this guy has not performed for Chelsea, particularly in the Premier League.
Not
So
at all.
it's a difficult one again.
It's another frustrating one, and it's scarily looking like it might be that we'll look back at this time and be like, oh, Havertz, weren't he great in that one game in the final, and then didn't really do much. It has that kind of vibe about it, doesn't it? Like, and he moves on and then scored a bag of goals in the Bundesliga again, something stupid. But yeah, it's different. His best position, that's a great question, because what is it like? I think when he was playing in the Bundesliga, it was alongside another striker. It was kind of like a two at the top kind of thing. And I remember thinking when Lukaku came in, I thought Werner and Havertz would relish that opportunity to play alongside him in a front two, just like he did with Martinez. It felt like a fit, and we've seen them try it, but not really to any effect. So yeah, it's difficult. I don't really know because he's not an out-and-out striker, is he? Lukaku's an out-and-out striker, even though he's in bad form. Time has told that he's that guy, whereas Havertz isn't. But then he's not a midfielder. He's not a winger. It's so difficult.
I mean, I honestly think he's probably best as a number 10, but we just don't play a system that has a number 10. I mean, I'd liken him almost. No, I mean, I think the number 10, I mean, separate conversation, but I think the number 10 is dying out in terms of an out-and-out 10. I think gone are the days where we had Juan Mata operating in that position like an absolute magician, an unreal season with him, Hazard, and Oscar, but I can't remember who it was, probably behind Drogba. That was unreal. The number 10 for me is dying out, and I think that probably is his best position. But ultimately, the guy's got to start. He's got to start scoring goals, or he's got to start influencing the game more often than he currently does, because at the moment we're just not getting value for money from what we pay for him, 70 odd million pounds, and the guy is delivered in a Chelsea shirt. Probably you could count those times on one hand. So there are some difficult decisions to be made, like in the summer with regards to some of these big investments. I do think Havertz will outlast Werner. Havertz has probably definitely got next season. I think Werner is probably done. But as you say, these guys have got to start doing stuff, and it is a little bit of a problem. But I mean, yeah, I think Lukaku seems to be getting the nod at the moment, and Kai Havertz will feature probably from the bench. I mean, Jay, how important is it, again, another aspect of this game, that we've got the 5 substitutes so that we can give more players minutes and give certain players a bit of a rest at points in the game as well?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Tuchel loves the 5 subs. I know he was an advocate to try and get it in the Premier League. It's so important in games like this because we know that this is a big game for the FA Cup. We want to get as far as that as we can. We know it's a big game for managing minutes, getting back up to fitness. It has so many like subplots to this game that it's so interesting. So yeah, it's going to be absolutely vital, and I've got no doubt that he'll use all 5. All 5 will be used, and definitely will be changed. You can see the likes of Christensen coming in for minutes. Maybe Werner and Havertz might come on toward the end of the game. Maybe especially if Lukaku hasn't scored. Yeah, you can Saul as well. Saul came into form. You know what I mean? We've kind of we did speak about him, but we didn't go into detail. Like Saul has been into form. He definitely will probably see some. Definitely, probably bit of a redundant sentence, but yeah. No, it's so important. It's so important in games like this. I mean, of course, Chelsea with the depth that we have, we're going to say that, aren't we? Plymouth aren't probably too excited about bringing their second or third choice defender on, but yeah, being Chelsea, it's great.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that lineup looks pretty strong on paper. Obviously, we'll have to see, what Thomas Tuchel goes with tomorrow. I mean, I don't think we're going to be that far out. 1 or 2 positions could be slightly different, but it's going to be a very strong side, like we've said, for those various reasons. Before we round out, Jay, just like to get a score prediction from yourself for tomorrow. Let me just bring this up. Yes, mate, I will be going to the game tomorrow. Looking forward to being back at the bridge after a few weeks break. Jay, score prediction for tomorrow. What are you thinking? Like more goals like we got against Chesterfield, or would you just be happy with any win?
Yeah, I think you know what I think it's going to be important because at Chesterfield we scored a fair few, but we conceded one, didn't we?
Yeah.
And as weird as it is, it was kind of great seeing the away fans lose their head because they're like that. They're a really small club, Chesterfield, so it was kind of nice. But tomorrow, I don't want us to see us conceding. We shouldn't be conceding. I think it'll be important because that's been a foundation of our success this season. Has been our defensive ability and the amount of clean sheets we had in the first half compared to January and December. It'd be good to get a clean sheet for Kepa and just for the defense. So yeah, I want to see a clean sheet. I'm saying I see Simon's just put 5-0. I bloody hope so, mate. I think I'm gonna go with 3-0. I think it might take a little while to get going. Like got to shake it off. Something Mason's been in Miami soaking up the sun. He's got to he needs to shake up a little bit. So it'll take us 20-30 minutes maybe to get a goal, and once that goes in, surely the floodgates open. So 3-0, I'll say.
Yeah, mate. I think there'll be plenty of goals tomorrow. Like you, I'd like us to get the clean sheet. They've not been as frequent as they have been in the early part of the season, and that's what we need to. That is our trademark. We're not like Liverpool or Man City. We're not going to outscore teams. Our success is going to be built on being solid at the back and winning games by 1 or 2 goals tops. But this is an opportunity to build confidence and put a lot of goals in. I'm gonna be bold. I mean, last time I predicted the Chesterfield score spot on when I went 5-1. So hopefully I can make it 2. Hopefully I can make it 2 from 2. I'm gonna go with a 4-0 tomorrow. I'm feeling confident that there's gonna be a few goals, but we'll have to wait and see. And it'll be great to have Chelsea back in action to kick off what's going to be a very busy month and ultimately, hopefully, a very successful month with 2 more trophies in the bag. Jay, thank you so much for your time, mate. Guys, make sure you follow him on Twitter. Subscribe to his new YouTube channel. Jay, you'll just tell us a little bit about that briefly, mate. You started up a Chelsea channel, is that right?
Thanks for having me on, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah, no, we So yeah, I do so much stuff. I love YouTube so much. I like doing this. So I thought I used to have at the back post, and we used to do stuff similar to this, but that's kind of changing now. We're changing that to be a different thing. So, but I knew I'd miss talking about football like this, like me and you've just done. So I set up my own channel. I'm going to be talking about all things football, but mostly Chelsea because that's the thing I care about most. So yeah, I'm going to be doing live streams, stuff like this, previews, fan cams, all that good stuff. And it's Jay Tomlins Football. Pretty easy.
Yeah, guys, fantastic. Make sure you check that out. I've linked all Jay's socials and the channels in the description below. So please do head over there, subscribe, follow him on Twitter and whatnot. And if you're into your kits like we both are, then check out his work on retro kits as well. That's a great channel, so check all those out.
Thanks,
no problem at all. Guys, as I said, make sure you smash a like on this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all of your support. Jay, once again, thanks for your time, mate. Great stuff as always. Always a pleasure to talk all things Chelsea. And yeah, guys, we'll catch you in a couple of days' time with some more Chelsea content. So until then, enjoy the weekend and up the Chels.
Come on, Chels.